Continuing. Tasmannarha vayam hantum dhartarashtran swabandhavan swajanam hi katham hatva sukhina syama madhava. So Arjuna is asking Bhagavan that what is the need for this war? So he's addressing the reason why war should not be fought. He says, Tasmat vayam dhartarashtran swabandhavan na arhaha na hartum hantum arhaha. Bhagavan, we should not hurt our own kith and kin, swabandhavan, my own relatives, Dhartarashtran, the children of Dhritarashtra, who happens to be swabandhavan, who happens to be my cousins, and we should not hurt them. And the Arjuna has given some reasons earlier, and now he says, Swajanam hi katham hitva sukham syam madhava. Bhagavan, how are we to attain peace, joy, and happiness after killing one's own relative? After destroying one's own relatives? So, how can we be happy by killing them? Now, a lot of times we have difficulty processing life. We have to, number one, understand we have been sent on this planet for a greater purpose. We get so caught up in our family life. The husband's attachment to wife, the wife's attachment to husband, the couple's attachment to their children, our own attachment to our own parents, and how that influences our relationship with our significant others, and the in-laws relationship, and then the parents' relationship. All of this is born out of the friction is born out of our inability to see a total picture. We have to realize we have come over here for a greater purpose. We have only come over here to spiritually evolve. Nothing else. We are not some insignificant beings trapped in flesh and matter. It is the divine infinite consciousness which is conditioned by this limited equipment. And our nature is eternal. Our nature is divine. So when we find ourselves trapped in the human form, the entrapment of the human physique, or even the subtle mind, trapped in the subtle mind, we have to realize that the conditioning of this equipment and us, it is over here temporarily. And when temporarily we own up the garb of this equipment, along with this comes a temporary responsibility and duty. And that temporary responsibility and duty is called swadharma. Our own swadharma is at the level of this equipment. But our absolute dharma is we are divine. We have come over here to realize our absolute being. And Arjuna makes an error in this understanding. He says, Swabandhavan, my relatives. And these relatives of mine, I should not create discomfort and friction between us. They may have created it. They may have tried to burn us. They may have robbed us off of our own kingdom. They may have robbed us off of our own rightful they may have robbed us off of our own rightful possession of the kingdom and the kingship. They may have abused Draupadi. They may have illegally, by playing the game with all crooked rules, they may have won. But, oh Lord, we should not do that. Oh Lord, we should not behave in that way. And that is a mistake that Arjuna is making, because he fails to realize that his swadharma is to establish order in the kingdom. And his kingdom has been taken away. His well-being has been taken away. And after all, he has inherited this equipment because of the swadharma of being a kshatriya. And thus that thinking process is inappropriate. From the standpoint of swadharma, on the level of family, yes, they are kith and kin. That is true. And from the standpoint of that dharma of maintaining ahimsa, that is also true. We should not hurt people. But here are these people who have really destroyed the kingdom. And if he allows such people to reign over the kingship, and if such people becomes sovereign monarchs of nation, then the peace of nation is at stake. And thus, Bhagavan quietly just listens. He does not interject. So from this shloka, what we need to take for ourselves is, before we make our own decisions in life, we really need to think from various levels. What is my absolute dharma? What is my absolute nature? Then what is my swadharma? Having acquired this equipment, what have I come over here for? Number one, I have come over here to realize my being. We are spiritual beings trapped in the prism of matter. We are not matter trapped in matter, you know. We are spiritual beings, and that is our first dharma, to seek that. Second, the equipment has been given to us to seek that and to fulfill a particular dharma, a mother, a father, an employer, an employee, everywhere dharma is there. If somebody is a manager of human resources, and the finance person comes and has a meeting with the CEO and the human resources and say, in order for us to survive, you are going to have to lay off these many people according to finance. And the human resources person says, oh, that I cannot do. How can I lay off people? Economy is not good. What will people think of us? What will people think of me? I'm kicking somebody in their belly. Now, the human resources person has been hired to hire and fire employees in the company based upon all types of information. One information is the manager coming of that particular department and saying, this person is not working out for us. There are too many absentees. The work is not good. They're making mistakes. That's a whole different scenario. Now, this particular scenario is the CFO comes and tells the human resources person, I want you to look at the workforce, and this much money the company needs to save in order for it to survive and make decisions. We need to lay off and save this much money. And the CEO is there, the CFO is there, the human resources person is there, and they have to all work as a team, because the organization, the company, is a one giant organism. It's a live organism. The CEO and the CFO are thinking about the whole company. And the human resources has to come on board and think along that terms. So here is a Kshatriya who is a part of this organism called society. And if the leader of the society is not at par, then it has to be taken care of. And that's why we had those divisions in the society where there was checks and balance. Knowledge was given by the men of learning, and it was executed by men of action, and the society prospered because the men of economics were able to grease the engine of the society, keep it well greased and lubricated so the society can function. But if the corruption is there at the top, eventually the whole well-being of the society will crumble. So Arjuna is thinking from the standpoint of the relation at the level of the body. But Bhagavan is reminding that you need to think from the standpoint of your duty, your swadharma. And that is the lesson that we have to take from this shloka. It is not literally spelled out for us by Vyas Maharshi ji. That's why a teacher is so important when we study such scriptures, because the teacher brings out the fine understanding of the implications of what these shlokas mean to us. So it's not just, discarding these people and letting them go because they are kith and kin. the well-being of the society rests upon the shoulders of Arjuna, and thus uh, Shloka number 37 speaks volumes about that. Continuing, Yadyapyete na pashyanti लोभोपहत चेतसः कुलक्षयकृतं दोषं मित्रद्रोहे च पातकम् 39 कथं न ज्ञेयमस्माभिः पापादस्मान्निवर्तितुं कुलक्षयकृतं दोषं prapashyadbirjanardana. So now so many fine nuances about us human beings as complex creatures are talked about. You know, it is not just the chimpanzees and the gorillas who lived in little more advanced societies in the jungles of Congo and Namibia and places where there is a silverback gorilla who looks out for the whole troop and decides where they will forage and how the little ones will be taken care of, and moving from canopy to canopy and finding a place to call it a place to halt for the evening, for the night until the next day. These are, even creatures have to think about it. But another important idea brought about over here is kulakshaya. Kula is lineage. The silverback gorilla in the Congo wants to protect his troop because he wants to make sure that those babies that he has fathered survive, reach adulthood, so the tribe can continue. We are also very complex creatures. We may be living in home, wearing clothes and having Zoom classes and all those, but after all, it is a complex society that we live in. If chimpanzees and gorillas have troops and a well constructed social discipline and hierarchy and order in living, certainly we would have it too. I mean, we have scriptures. So Arjuna has thought about it. And thus he's presenting this idea that, oh Lord, yadyapapi, yadapi, ete na pashyanti, even though these cousins of mine, they don't see lobha upahata chetasaha, the mind which has been robbed of proper ways of thinking, mind and intellect is bankrupt. All because of lobha, none other than greed. Greed has overpowered proper thinking of the intellect and mind. And we see people do that. They cheat in taxes. They don't, proper information is not presented in the books, in the companies with the tax attorney, or whatever ways people do whatever they do to cut corners, to make a buck, whatever it is. So over here, that once this greed comes in, it makes a person do so many things. So Arjuna is saying greed overpowered their mind, and they were not satisfied with what they had attained, and they wanted to take away our kingdom, Indraprastha. Okay, let them take away. But why should we behave like that? Why should we behave like that? If we start a war, oh Lord, if we fight with them, what will happen? Kulakshaya krutam dosham mitra dohe cha patakam. We will be known for the ones who have created kula kshaya. Kula meaning a lineage of family. Kshaya, we would be responsible for the destruction of a lineage of whole families. We would destroy not just one family, we will destroy so many families. Uh, men will disappear, children will disappear. Nobody will be there in these great lineage of Kshatriyas who have all assembled over here to fight. And certainly, oh Lord, we don't want to do that. Mitra dohecha patakam. The friends who have assembled, we would inflict upon them cruelty by killing them. It is not appropriate, O Lord, for us to engage in this fight. Kulakshay krutam dosham mitra dohe cha patakam, and we will become receptors of sin. So, this is a thought presented by Arjuna. Katham nagneyam asmabihi he janardana asmabihi kulakshay krutam dosham prapashyad. Seeing the evil of the destruction of the lineage of family, O Lord, tasmad nivartitum katham nagneyam asmabihi. O Lord, seeing this, it is only appropriate that we should turn away from this cruelty of engaging ourselves in this war. So, we also engage in this kulakshaya dosha. When somebody makes a comment on our child, and immediately we jump and say, oh, not my child, my child cannot do this. It is our innate tendency to adhere to our kith and kin and to overlook the pitfalls of our own kith and kin. From this shloka, what we should learn to do is we should once in a while learn to apply brakes in our life and stand apart from our own family and take a look at the whole family as nothing but extension of the society. That's it. And then what would my decision be? For the well-being of the society, if my swadharma is to uphold righteousness, to uphold peace in the family and in the society, if that is what my purpose is, then I should be willing to make appropriate decision. But if I am not making appropriate decision out of some attachment to a child, attachment to a family member, then I am not being true to my swadharma. This is a greater implication of this shloka. Arjuna brings this idea of kulakshaya krutam dosham, the evil effect born out of destruction of families. there are so many hot topics. Even today, we are dealing with, uh, building a wall between two nations. We even this day and age, we have very, very hot topics, and people are completely divided. Black Lives Matter, uh, issue of the society. Who decides whose life is important? Life matters. Then why is it that uh, life itself matters? Then why is it that we want specially Black Lives Matter? Because something has happened, something has not gone well. An unborn fetus life matters. And society is torn apart for that. Just imagine this kulakshaya krutam dosham. Even today, we haven't dealt with it. At the individual level, a family may decide in one way or the other, but at the society level, what is appropriate? What is inappropriate? These are thoughts which have baffled the greatest thinkers of the society, and even the people whom we entrust a proper decision, the 9 justices, even there is a division. And then people lose trust and faith. Okay, the person is thinking according to this line, the person is thinking according to the liberal line or the conservative line. But really, what is appropriate for society? What is just human rights? What is just prenatal rights? What is just women's rights and gender's rights? And it just goes on and on and on and on. Brilliant arguments are written from each side. So this is what Arjuna is bringing up, that kulakshaya krutam dosham mitra drohe cha patakam, and kulakshayam krutam dosham papat asman nivartitum. We should shy away from it. Just by shying away from it, is it going to solve the societal problems? So Bhagavan is clear about it, that Arjuna, look, it is in your hands to put appropriate people in appropriate positions for proper thinking. And if the person who is supposed to think about the welfare of the society themselves are corrupted, and if they themselves are evil, Arjuna, what kind of society will you have? We are trying to create a utopic society, but forget about utopia. It's a far-fetched dream if evil prevails. So sometimes people, amongst friends, even at Starbucks over coffee, they don't want to engage in such conversations because they're afraid they will hurt somebody's feelings because of their views, They don't want to talk about it. And just quietly talking about it on one fine day in a Tuesday in November is not going to solve everything, So people, the higher we are in the societal ranks, the greater weight that we bear on our shoulders, morally and ethically. And if leaders don't think about societies first, that itself, according to Bhagavan, is a great crime. In the third chapter, Bhagavan will address this. The higher you climb, the greater should be your moral, ethical, sound being for the sake of the society. Because at this level, you are not only representing yourself for your spiritual evolution and growth, but in the process, we have to uplift the society as well. So first dharma is spiritually, we have to evolve. But our second swadharma is in the process of living life, whatever 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years, which is written on our foreheads that we live, we have to uplift others around us. That will become a currency of punya to push us up higher. Because the society is the extension of the same God. In second chapter, Bhagavan will make it clear that what you are thinking as these Swabandhavas and Dhartarashtra, the children of Dhritarashtra, Arjuna, they are part of the same cosmic universe. And if something is going wrong, fix it. Especially if the society bestows upon you the position to fix it. And the society has. You are a crowned prince. Your brother is a crowned prince. He is born out of dharma. So dharma has to prevail. The other 100 are born out of blindness. As much as you love them and do not want to hurt their evilness, you may be compassionate enough to forgive their evil wrongdoings. But for the sake of society, don't allow your compassion to be misplaced. This is the implication of the shloka. That's why it's important we participate in the society that we live in. It serves no purpose for me to poke my nose in the politics which goes on in India because I don't live in that society. But I do live over here. And if my passport bears these United States of America, and for the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, then I have to participate in it. And if we shy away from it, then we are at fault. If our voice is in a minority because we have allowed it to be a minority voice. So we have to then speak up. So yeah, there are, even in this society, just because the Emancipation Proclamation happened 150 years ago, that doesn't mean that, Lincoln has solved everything. He's tried his best to solve in the 19th century, but we have ways to go. And it is only people who think about others and who put others first and who understand the need of right understanding at right time in right place can create a robust building block of society. So that's why first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is very important. Um, I'm a monk and I'm not allowed to take part in politics and whatnot, but certainly uh, we have to be educated about the society that we live in. So the orange clothes creates a picket fence of spiritual evolution, the internal picket fence. But we must uh, come outside our own white picket fence and see that the other person on the other side of that white picket fence is also well taken care of. It's not what is said in poetry that good fences make good neighbors. So a lot of philosophy is there in Bhagavad Gita to uplift us. Okay. Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam krutsnam adharmo bhavatyuta. So, kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharmaha sanatanaha. Even this topic, Bhagavan, see, whatever he raises, Bhagavan's not going to leave it alone. He will address it. This he addresses in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna raises this point. He says, Kulakshaye sanatanaha kuladharmaha pranashyanti. Oh Lord, if I destroy the lineage of all these people who are assembled over here for war, if they die at my hands, with the weapons released by my hands, oh Lord, the eternal dharmas coming out of various lineages, kula dharmaha, the social structure of various families, pranashyanti, they will be destroyed. And dharme nashte, and when the dharmas of these various families are gone, krutsnam adharma abhi bhavatyutaha. You know, just last week, 2 weeks ago, in the UT Hindu Student Association, they had, the Hindu Student Association took on the topic of BJP and how detrimental BJP is for India. First of all, these are American-born kids poking their nose in India, BJP party, with their understanding that it is the India's equivalent of right wing. And all they do is they preserve the discrimination in the society of Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. That they want to make sure that this Brahmanism continues and the lowest of the scheduled class has no say in the society, and it perpetuates the lower caste remaining low and not allowing to climb. So it was a debate which came out on UT campus, and it went so far as to saying then there are organizations born out of this where there is okerization, quote unquote, of Hindu preaching. And Chinmay Mission is what was addressed over there, that people, monks wearing in orange attire, all they do is they beat the drum about dharma, 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 Vedas, 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 and then the humanity suffers. So, oh my God, it was a loaded subject. And you can imagine it was divided. Few people who really knew their stuff were against a whole bunch of them who had just heard it and not thought about it properly. They were having this debate, and I was brought in between to resolve this. It's a okay, yes, there is an occurrization, but I think we will have to go to Swamiji. So I talked to them. And see, I have been monk in Chinmaya Mission for almost 20 years now, and good 12, 13 years in Austin. Now, I go to people's home for Bhiksha. And whichever home I go, the home also has some tradition. They have their own background. And I immediately adhere to it. I'm also a product of this country. I came to this country when I was 12, 13 years old. So I grew up over here, and I feel I have the best of both worlds. I have understanding of my rich traditional heritage passed on by my family and Pujya Gurudev by learning in Chinmaya Mission. And I'm grateful for that. But I'm also very grateful for the American upbringing that I have to look at life from a different lens. And I appreciate that. So I call myself, a balance of uh, taking the best of both worlds. Now, when I go to a Brahmin home, and it's not just a Brahmin, quote unquote, who Gurudev used to call, just the threaded variety, who don't have much understanding of what Brahmin culture is. But when time comes, a thread is put, and then after that, everything is gone. So majority of our Brahmin culture is that. Whether you like it or not, that's what I have seen. It's my experience, at least, and I speak for myself. But then there are certain Brahmins, even in Austin, who really live this culture. And we may look at their lifestyle as very orthodox lifestyle. And they raise children in this country in such orthodox lives, and those kids have adhered to it. But they become the gatekeepers of Veda's knowledge and wisdom. Because that orthodox lifestyle comes with a lot of sacrifice. Those people who are against this Brahminism, when they buy a new home or a new car, they will go to a temple and get the puja done for the car. They will ask that priest to come home and do some puja. But the attack is on their lifestyle. Now, that person who is a priest in a temple, they have to live such a disciplined life in order for them to enter the sanctum. Not only physically they have to be clean, mentally they have to be clean. And if they have had sexual relations in these last few days, then time is given off to them. I'm telling you, it's not easy. The priest have to follow some conduct. And if these priests live such a strong lifestyle of orthodoxy, where they will not touch certain person, they will not touch certain things, we frown upon them that, look, they are discriminating. But then the same priest, we will say, can you come to my home for doing puja and blessing my land for Bhumi Puja, or for, a housewarming party, housewarming ceremony? We will pay them $150 and then pay the temple $200, but then we will look down upon the lifestyle. But see, the very fact that this person has come, has chanted all those mantras, has done the invocation properly, it is because of orthodoxy. So we forget to see that. I mean, I understand when the orthodoxy is stretched to the level of the society, that is where even the Brahmin culture is seeing decadence, because they have extended it too far. And that has brought about complete decadence and destruction by, number one, not following the tradition that they are supposed to. Number two, picking up somebody else's tradition and doing that. Bhagavan Krishna addresses all these things in chapters 3, 4, 5. Paradharma. They have now accepted a Vaishya dharma of making money and giving up their whole tradition. That, and then holding and not sharing, because the Vaishya community is the one which shares the wealth. Now, if that wealth is taken away and it is not shared, that's when we start seeing all these imbalance, and we expect somebody else to give, and everybody thinks that the other will give, and then nobody will give, and the people in society will be not taken care of. The temples are neglected, elders are neglected, the lower caste people are neglected, opportunities are not given. And then we see what happens in places like, Tamil Nadu, and where Brahmins have to end up leaving because there is a quota of Brahmins in the medical school, there's quotas in the engineering school, and naturally they are gifted in studies because years and years of the whole lineage doing Sandhya Vandanam, memory is like this. But for this the other caste person, not much memory, so the exams, they don't do well. Complex societal problems arise. And the Vedas say the one who has the greater knowledge should have greater compassion. So over here, he has raised this topic of Kula Dharma and the destruction of the society by the destruction of people who have arrayed over here for ourselves. This is a very, very complex topic. I painted this picture in front of these students. I said, yes, there is a need for orthodoxy, but then there is also a need for checks and balance when orthodoxy is stretched too far. And that same orthodoxy comes and criticizes institutions like Chinmaya Mission because we allow on a Shivratri day a woman to go to a Shivalinga and do Abhishekam. Versus it is not allowed in Orthodox tradition. In a Brahmin tradition, dare a woman enter a sanctum, dare a woman touch Shiva. So I told them that here is this organization who has come about to bring understanding in our culture. If we don't teach, it will be destroyed. If a temple has to behave like a temple, that is completely okay. But in Chinmaya Mission, this temple cannot behave like an Orthodox because this institution serves Brahma Vidya. And in Brahma Vidya, we have to serve the platform of understanding. And in understanding, the differences are to be dissolved. Versus the temple or the stalwarts of they have to preserve Vedas. We have to preserve understanding. They are preserving traditions. We are preserving knowledge. And if we turn off people, there will be no proper knowledge and guidance. So I told them there is a need for Chinmaya Mission, but then there is also a need of the orthodoxy of Austin Hindu Temple where certain person is not allowed to go inside. They are preserving a different type of tradition and we are preserving a different tradition. This understanding should be there. If we all fight and say that all Orthodox people are wrong, it's not going to work. We have to come ourselves in the middle ground because we want to make sure all aspects of society is taken care of. How many of us are willing to put up with the rules of orthodoxy? Not very many of us. I know children, even today, born and raised over here. They have not eaten anything outside. Not even a vegetarian burrito at Taco Bell or Taco Gabbana or whatever. Nothing. Everything home cooked, everything such difficult tradition, waking up, taking bath, doing the full puja, then going to school, college, job, whatever it is, and it is maintained because few of these people will maintain a very deep tradition. All of us cannot do it. But we should not criticize them for doing it. That should be appreciated as well. And at the other end, we should also extend an olive branch to ones who are stuck down in the society where they can climb up. That is also our job. If we, the educated, don't help the uneducated, who will help? You know, the glory of education is we should expand. Whenever a parent and a child fights, who is more educated? The parent. Who will be more forgiving? Parent. Just by the virtue of being older, wiser, uh, we accept them. I cannot accept people from waiting room. Can you please do that? I don't know what's going on. Now I can do it. Okay. So I will end my class over here. My Balvihar teachers are waiting. Now it's Balvihar teachers satsang. But it is a chapter 1 is a very, very deep chapter. It is not a simple chapter. People disregard chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita, but actually there's a lot of food for thought in this chapter. And we will continue this next week. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.